So I will talk about the main difference between Metal Gear Solid and the Thief series. Mainly from Thief 1 to 3 because I haven't played the 2014 reboot of it. But I heard it's different, so maybe it's best just to keep it to the originator of it in a sense. At least if you compare like Metal Gear Solid, I think that one, in lots of ways, have kind of kept it in a very action stealth kind of way. Like it's more reliant on action stealth. I mean, there are stealth elements, like you can do lots of stealthy things that I think is cool, but it's more an asset of it. It's more like I think it's more optional, but it's more useful. You don't want to get caught and get killed because that's usually what happens if you get caught. But I guess the difference is in Thief, it actually utilizes it a little bit more efficiently. Of actually, if you get caught, then you actually are getting in tons of trouble. So it's more like it's better to hide in the shadows and striking that way. Because if you just go around fighting people with the sword, I mean, the sword is very bad to begin with, so you're just gonna get yourself in trouble. So it's more of a hindrance actually to just confront people. So I do think that's one of the main difference. I mean, there's still ways you can utilize assault in a way that works in Thief. Like for example, if you hide in the shadows and you kind of just shoot an arrow at some guard that doesn't look, then he probably is gonna die with one shot of your arrow, or you can just shoot them like a crazy person. So there's lots of way you can be very assault like in Thief, but the way it's designed, it's very encouraging to use stealth to your elements. It's that's the main difference basically. And Metal Gear Solid, it feels more like an asset, but it's also probably encouraged though to use stealth in Metal Gear Solid because it does encourage you to do it, but yeah, it's more reliant on action, and stealth is more an element of the action in a sense, whereas Thief is more mandatory um, from a strike and hide perspective of Thief, like you hide in the shadows. Um, and I'm also going to talk about what the argument of what revolutionized who here, because some people try to say that Thief was the one that revolutionized stealth. I'm not sure. I guess it depends on the game. If maybe it helps other game companies to get start from Thief series, but Metal Gear, I was to say, has actually had a little bit bigger impact. Although Castle Wolfenstein, I think, has the biggest impact of stealth genre in general, the one from 1981, because in that game you could change, you could change uniform and go unseen by the enemy. That was like the first game to do that, and I think you actually could hold up guards too with freeze and frisk them. I think you could do that at least, but it was very primitive, so it was a little bit hard to do that. And I do think you could alert a guard if you shot in Castle Wolfenstein. That could make them open doors. But this is different from the caution game design that later games did. When let's say you knock on a like this. You knock on a wall, making sound, and that will alert the presence of a guard. Or you could stomp on a floor or something, and that could alert a guard. It would put them in alert mode, but they would put them in a caution mode, and oh, I hear something. So what game? I don't. I wouldn't say that Castle Wolfenstein introduced that. It was just full alert mode. But what Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake 1990 MSX game did for that was actually introducing that. I haven't actually seen older games than that actually had this concept. Basically, Solid Snake could walk over metal gratings or knock on walls that will make a sound, and that would sort of alert an enemy of okay, there's a guy here. So that was actually from what I know, was the game that actually introduced this concept, and I think that was actually a very revolutionary idea. I don't know if the Thief developers played Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, but it would surprise me. But it's a great game. But what I do think that Thief 1, 2, and 3 kind of did was at least um, At least in terms of how they worked in terms of game design, I actually do think they actually took some of those ideas, or at least if they didn't, at least they implemented those ideas and made it better. In terms of a fully 3D games, because the whole point is to stay unseen. Like if you're in the shadows, you won't be seen by the enemy, and basically, what happens is, like if you're like walking too quickly, then depending on what type of floor you walk on, then that kind of varies on how loud the enemy hears you. So you can like let's say you walk on like flat floor, like a floor inside a building, that may actually make a lot of noise. But if you walk on carpets or softer materials like grass, that may not alert the enemy so much. But not all type of outside walking stuff can be soft. Though, like I think I walked to some bushes or something. I remember the guard could hear that. So again, that's very genius. I think the only way to kind of be a little bit sneaky is you have to go a little bit more softer on those certain places, even if you want to like hide or something. If you hear a guard, then you have to like walk very softly. If you're inside, just do a shadow area. Like that's example. So I do think it kind of implemented those elements from Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, and they just perfected it. But I don't personally like Thief 1 Gold or Dark Project from 1998 to 1999. I just think it was a little bit I don't know. It just was a little bit too weird with those dinosaurs. So I've never been a fan of that. I guess I tried to make it up with the Barney the dinosaur modification, but the point is, I'm not a huge fan of that game. But maybe some are. I think that Thief 2, the Metal Age, was way better. I think that was actually the perfection of the Thief series in my view. But yeah, that's sort of like the difference is I think the main focus is Metal Gear Solid. It's kind of like action stealth game. Like it has stealth elements, but it relies also on action. It's kind of like an implemented thing. Whereas Thief, I think, is its main objective is to use the stealth elements to take out the enemy, um, and that's it. Like that's sort of like what it relies on. The reward is like you use that, you win. Whereas I think in Metal Gear Solid is more the asset of it. But I do think they are both great game series. I definitely do like them both in their own ways. So yeah, that's just the difference between Metal Gear Solid and Thief series. Depending on what you prefer, that's up to you. I think they are both good. But yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you for listening and bye.